About a year ago, you came to my university to speak, talking about me, and I was inspired by you. And how you shared a woman's desire for love and a man's for respect. I truly had never thought of it that way. As soon as the discussion questions were over, I beelined it for the table full of free CDs with your parents' wisdom. My longtime boyfriend and I popped it in, and it was exactly how we were feeling. Over the last year, our relationship has blossomed, and we've begun to understand each other and each other's needs a lot more. Though in the past several months, I've really been struggling with his lack of desire to be confident in a future with me. He loves me and can't imagine his life without me, but can't say he wants to marry me. This really hurts my feelings when he says this, and after dating for an extremely long time, I feel like this should be a no-brainer. Am I being crazy for wanting him to fish or cut bait, or do I just need to respect his needs and his timing?
Well, obviously, if I was sitting down with him, I'd say, why? What's going on?
Yeah.
Right? What would you do?
Yeah, I would ask the same thing. I mean, hopefully he can be more direct, but if he is kind of going, I can't imagine my life without you, but I don't know if I want to marry you, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, when a person says, I can't imagine living without you, but I don't want to live with you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I would say to the guy, like, you're going to unhinge a huge amount of insecurity in her by saying things like that. And so I think she's wise to say, you know, fish or cut bait. I mean, I know in Keller's The Meaning of Marriage, he has a thing where he was just friends with his wife for a long time, and finally she was fine being friends with him, but it got to a point where she was like, look, like, I am not just here for your emotional buddy. Like, you have to evaluate if I'm valuable enough for you to marry or not. And while you decide that, I'm gonna bounce.
Right.
And so it kind of woke him up. And so I think in some level, this guy saying he can't imagine his life without her is keeping her around for whatever need he has, but it just sounds like he's got to sort some things out, especially if they've been together for a long time.
Yeah, a long time. And I think, you know, again, we aren't suggesting that you have an attitude toward the guy. I think there's this humble statement, and there has to be willingness on her part to follow through. I mean, we've come to a point now where we either need to fish or cut bait, which is that expression we use, but that has to be, the tone of that has to be very healthy. And I know that when women who have done that, who've done it in humility, have put that man in a position, because we did a video clip earlier about men come to a point where they panic. And it's not really about her, it's about his own issue.
Yeah.
And he needs to be reassured that this is okay. There may be an irrational fear that he's struggling with.
Yeah.
She is everything he wants. He's being authentic about that. This is his issue, it's not hers. And they're going to have to sit down with a godly, wise person and try to sort through why it is that he's not willing to commit and say, let's get married. That has to be addressed as two mature people, and they have to be open and honest about that. And it sometimes can be painful. It may be that he is saying, no, there are 3 other reasons why I really don't want to be with you. But he's a peacemaker, and he doesn't confront, and he's afraid to really speak the truth, and he's being so indirect that it's misleading her, and she needs to have him be direct, and he needs to have enough confidence in speaking that. And that's never an easy conversation. At the same time, it helps him get into a position where he might realize, you know what, I don't really feel those things as strongly now as I thought I did, and that can be a breakthrough.
Well, yeah, and I think that what you said earlier is key that I have heard from a number of women is sometimes when we feel in that place of not feeling safe and secure, we do go into attitude mode of like, well, I'm just going to leave you and you've got to figure this out for yourself kind of thing, because we see in movies that it's always the woman who doesn't want the guy or is harder to get, like has an attitude, then he like comes after her and fights for her. And I just don't think that in reality that works. I think she can set some really strong, healthy boundaries and go, I'm gonna give you space to go work this out with some guys, or we're gonna meet with counselors and I need that. But there's so much more power if you do that as a mature person.
It works at a one point time, like with Keller's wife. There are moments where that has to be stated if the history is.
But she did it without, I don't think, with an attitude.
No, she didn't. But I mean, the point is, it's okay to do that, but you can't keep doing that.
Yeah.
And so if you keep doing it, then you're really not genuine in what you're saying. And you're using that as a way to try to motivate the person to really come around. You're not giving them the freedom to say, you know what, I guess we do need to end a relationship. So you've got to get in tune with that fear. And are you willing for him to say, you know, I really don't want to continue on? And that fear is so great that sometimes we don't have that honest heart-to-heart discussion because of where it might lead.
Yeah.
On the next Ask Joy, upon finding themselves amidst a storm in their relationship, Joy takes to the language of love, German.
I don't know, I've just been thinking, you know, with our relationship, you being in the suburbs and me being in the city, and don't know, if we started reading together and I brought this book, and it feels perfect because I feel like we're kind of in a Bavarian type setting, and we both have German heritage, so here goes. Ich habe immer gestatt, der werde ich zeigen. Ich mir deklariert ausdrücken musste. Man, this author's funny. Respekt zu bewegen. Indem ich mich... Yeah. You need to learn that, I think. Yeah.